Good morning, gentlemen. I thought today was Thursday. I guess it's been such a dramatic week. I had my days off. I'm so happy today's Wednesday. I'm finally looking over this proposal. I like this. It looks so good right off the bat compared to other, less thought through things I've heard. So I want to first let me recap what I believe this spreadsheet is saying. Good job, Chris. This is more thought and energy I've put into this. So Hubh DIN, they put in about $250,000 in. You're saying we're going to automatically give them a 15% return per year, which gives them about $75,000. I'm not sure if you did that compound interest or simple interest, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It's just a general term for negotiating, so I'm not even going to check. The next thing is, okay, so Ryan Beckett, you put down, I know he has 29% of the company, Adrian has 29%, and I guess Mark has 42%. Okay, I didn't know that exact about Mark. That's cool, though. So you're saying that if we were going to write them all a check, that these are the checks we would write them. Okay, and if I'm correct, I'm moving on. Yeah, I think those numbers look favorable. They're obviously want more than that, since they feel like their company's it has a lot more equity, business equity, which Mark's not an idiot. Mark's been around the block. So if Ryan Beckett, who is I consider a very smart and successful businessman, and Mark, who's a very smart, successful businessman, feel that they're worth $2 to $2.5 million. I think to argue too much with them would be semantics on business equity, which business equity, Warren Buffett cannot exactly tell you what business equity is. Warren Buffett's better at guessing it and then knowing how to sell it and getting closer to his number, but he can't. Warren Buffett himself can't tell you what the equity's worth. It's kind of tricky about business equity and not selling a house or a tangible good. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Let me move on. So what you're saying here is we want to give him a cash offer of $325,000. I don't know. What I would like to add to this is to make a payment plan, and one of two things: to make sure their team is on board to help us do the back office and be a part of Real Trade, not just here you go, good luck. Build team of Hubh DIN and Real Trade. Also, because even if we had $5 million right now, or even if we had $500,000, which we don't want to deplete all of our funds. So if we could cut that into thirds, or even more, I mean, it depends what they say, into thirds. And again, I'm negotiating here. I'm not saying, oh, this is a hard line right here, guys. I think that's good enough. They come back, no, we're going to at least half of that because so-and-so, this could take days to go back and forth. But if they want half, that's something we can discuss. If they, so whatever. I'm just saying idea. So I like the idea we can build a team. You give them a third. Let's see what a third is. This times 0.33 is 100,000. So 107,000. Oh shit! I hate that, dude. Don't you hate spreadsheets sometimes? A third. Go away. You put the equations all the way down. All right. So now we got. For me, ideally, if they even go for this, they may not really like this number. We might have to change these numbers. That's why, Chris, I love this. I think you use spreadsheet equations. Let me see. If so, yes, you did. Oh, I'm so in love. I'm working with a finance guy. Woo-hoo. So obviously, if they want more, we just go up here. Okay, they want 400,000. Boom. The numbers. Whoa, I did the wrong number. So now we simply change the number. Boom. So with this, we can logically put what's comfortable, come to terms, and if this one number changes, we can keep all the rest of the terms in negotiation and look like what I consider professionals. That's what's nice about using math, spreadsheet, and logic to decide what we want to offer. Dude, guys, I think honestly this is a great team. Hopefully our one rogue member who's having a hard time working as a team, hopefully because he has strengths, I hope he can come down to earth and finish his mental issues. But this is really impressive, Chris. I know I shouldn't be. You have no idea. My 10-year-old literally knows how to put equations in a spreadsheet. I'm not exaggerating. Of course, I'm his dad, but still. so few people I work with know how to do this. All right, so you can see. All right, we're moving on. I'm still rambling. 1/3 cut in the payment. So ideally, we would have milestones. The tech side, Trey would be great. Trey could set milestones because he knows a lot more about back office and integration, as well as Alex. I should put Alex in there. And Alec. So these two gentlemen would be paramount in creating reasonable milestones. Again, this is also kind of a negotiating tactic. You want everyone to be happy. What else? Plus, we don't have $325,000, gentlemen. I know we can get it, but when you negotiate, it's a very bad manners to offer more than you have. It's actually considered a dishonest characteristics. So, and to a degree, if with the bank account where it is today, if we offered that and then they had a hard line if they want that money, eventually, with being honest, we would have to say we don't have it right now, but we can get it. It's like playing cards and saying, okay, I match and I call, but you don't have enough money to match the pot. Yeah, it's dishonest. It's semantics. It's not the end of the world, but it is dishonest. So we get those guys. So really, this is a number we can't afford right now, $107,000. Trey and Alec could set milestones. We could then cut 2 other payments and agreements. Now, those 2 payments timelines should be payment timelines should be set by 1, our developers milestones for technical side, 2 by our expectations of available funds. So we don't have the additional money. However, Mike, who's our all-star at raising funds and has a bunch of people on the sideline. I have some people on the sideline, but honestly, I have not even talked to them. It would take me. Mike's people would probably be better. Well, I know they would be better. They're more prepared. Mine are completely in the dark right now because I haven't talked to them. So, by our expectations, available funds. So I guess really this is Trey and Alec input, and this would be Mike P. To see when our expectations or funds are in. Ideally, this would be nice, I think, in within 4 to 6 weeks, payment 2, another 6 weeks, payment 3, and then of course now we got to negotiate reals and see what they say, and again with the reals, I know Adrian. I respect Adrian's viewpoint, being around the block myself with equity stakes. Right, you got to realize Adrian right now has 29% Hubh DIN, and he cannot put gas in his car with all that. He can't spend it all. And I know it's hard to believe for some people, but people like to spend money today, not dream about it tomorrow. So I respect Adrian's opinion. His $290,000 in Hubh DIN is, is not good. What is? Oh, I just noticed you give him $1 million estimate. I don't know, guys. No, but this is good for negotiation. I like Mark. Mark's a businessman. He's about legacy. So, yeah, these are good numbers. Some of these numbers I think are low. Like this, I'm not sure if that's compound interest. A lot of investors want more than 15% a year. However, as we all know, Hubh DIN is stalled out. And this is their best opportunity to monetize their business model. So for negotiating purposes, these are realistic. At the same time, I would not laugh at Mark or anyone who's, especially not Mark, but I would not act insulted if Mark pushed higher to double this number or 2.5 million. I mean, this guy's. I haven't even met this guy, but I trust Ryan Beckett's opinion and the way he talked about him. And Mark, this guy Mark reminds me of my great uncle Tom. Gastrite. What's his name? Anyway, and I knew my great uncle very well, and Mark and him sound similar. So he's very reasonable. He doesn't give a shit about money, but it's all about principle and working with people who have a logical mind and can behave right. But yeah, if he thinks it's worth 2.5 million, to a degree, his principle like, hey, I got $400 million. 2.5 million won't even pay the first month of the year taxes for me. So it's not about the 2.5 million being worth anything. It's the principle of his assessment being more experienced and that another assessment may be so offline that he has to say something. But that doesn't mean it's a deal breaker. We can then, even if he's like my great uncle, you go, hey, look, to be honest, these are our resources. Even if we agreed it was worth $2.5 million, we are still limited by what we can offer. So even if we could say this, we'd have to give you more reals or something like that. But if he's like my great uncle, then he would go, oh, fair enough. So as long as we're on the same page, and you're not saying I'm an idiot for giving a $2.5 million evaluation to my own company because you little guys with the what's it called? Wet ear behind your back. How do you say it? Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm done. So I like this. Let me pause. I'm going to go to the other one. This is taking too long. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. And gentlemen, my favorite, I haven't been able to substitute teach at all this year because unfortunately I miss it and I want to, but I've just been too busy. But my favorite subject is middle school math. That's what I like. I do math all the time. And unfortunately, there are two little mistakes here. It's semantics. This right here, you see reals. Yes, this is 1 cent, 0.01. 1/100th of a cent, no. This is actually 1/100th of a dollar. This would be 1/10. You see I put right here 1/10 of a cent. Or, I'm sorry, 1,000th. Is that right? So, yeah, that'd be 1/10 would be 0. 100th. Yeah, this is 1,000th of a dollar. But here you put 1,000th of a cent. And then here, this is not 1/10,000th of a cent. This is 1/10,000th of a dollar. Huge. Or 1/100th of a cent. Now, if I know this is confusing if you haven't done this math for a long time. Here I put these resources. It breaks down 1/10,000th of a dollar. I also put another one that talks about money. I know these are just pure decimals, but you got to remember, 10 cents is 1/10th of a dollar. And 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar. So I know it's just a little tiny thing, but in fact, Mark and them might not remember this. This is middle school math. We learned this in middle school, guys. So I understand why it's easily confused. It's been a long time for most of us. But here are two resources where I show the math being explained by educators to students. Okay, and honestly, I didn't look at reals. Nothing personal, but reals. We have so many, and I can't spend any. So they're just really, it's more of a token of sharing profits in the future, and nothing about sharing today. I mean, unfortunately, that's how I feel. So really, I thought all the numbers were fair. I have no disagreements on it. 1/1000th of a dollar. Aha! I think you fixed the math here. Okay, good. All right. So I didn't have to mention this. You're right. Looks like you got it right. Woo! Awesome. All right. So the other thing I would like to add is option 3, which I know we talked about this once, or I think Beckett talked about it once. Option 3 would be to do a limited time partnership that allows Hubh DIN to return to be non-exclusive to real trade in the event that's not right, sorry, in the event Hubh DIN does not receive agreed amount of equity. So if they say, example, if Hubh DIN states they are worth I'm gonna put 2 million, and we agree as real trade to meet this term. Not saying we agree it's 2 million. I'm just saying that we find that acceptable terms for that. This is more considered like an oracle. Then if their total shares of reals fails to meet 2 million plus the cash we paid them, then Hubh DIN can continue to do business with other firms and organizations, but we can real trade will be able to use the platform as agreed upon. Honestly, I know this is for negotiating. We should hold this back, this option 3 or this little add-on. Me personally, as a consultant, as I used to be employee, I think this we should offer anyway. I think this is transparency, and only a tyrant, like most corporations, only a tyrant tries to lock someone into a contract that's not in their best interest for their partner. And what I mean by that is, like, for us not to say this, we're like, hey, if they only get half of what they think because the reals don't go up as much as we had hoped, well, that's too bad. They're still tied into us. Just like what do you call it? Non-compete clauses that they make. In my opinion, it's the work of a tyrant. 90% of the time, not always, there are exceptions, for an employer to require a non-compete by their employee. The whole relationship, employee-employer, is not master and slave. The idea is, hey, I'm going to do the work for you, and when you compensate me, it's fair. The second the employer is no longer fair with compensation, the employee should have the right to leave and take their skills and their resume and go somewhere else. To do a non-compete 90% of the time is to change that relationship from a voluntary team, employer-employee, to a more of a slave. It was like, okay, you can do this, but I can do whatever I want to you. I can underpay you. I can rip you off on your commissions. But if you leave, you can't even use the skills that you already have. I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys. But I feel that non-compete example I just made with employee-employers is the same as us trying to tell Hubh DIN that if you're not as successful as we're telling you, you will be in real trade. You still are stuck with us to be exclusive. I think it's completely bad business, even though it's commonplace. I think it's wrong. So this, I think, would be a good example if our numbers aren't hitting, because really this is the biggest risk for Hubh DIN. If we get $100,000 or $200,000 and we do this merger, that's fine. Whether it works out or it doesn't, we could fail. Real trade could fall apart tomorrow, and they could go the other way. However, if we're mediocre and Hubh DIN doesn't get what they want or enough for what the real number, $2 million, then Hubh DIN loses, and their dreams and their business is done. And for us to ensure that that's not even an option for them would be to give an option like this. Hey, if we don't hit exactly those numbers in, let's say, 6 months, or whatever we want to say, 3 months, 6 months, I'd say 6 months or more. It could be a year, who knows. Then you can go start leasing and selling your thing to other services. I mean, why does it hit real trade anyway? Facebook is a good example of a great platform is accepted. I don't care if another business uses Facebook groups to promote their business. It has no impact on me. We just need it for real trade. To be honest, if 900 other people doesn't work, because just like Zillow is not a real estate company. Real trade, to a degree, is not going to be a real estate company, believe it or not. We're going to be a media company, just like Zillow. So as long as we have a good medium and we market the best, which is what a media company does, then if other people use Hubh DIN platform, who cares? I think we're going to have the best marketing and viral impact. Anyway, I think I've made my point. All right, guys. Later.